Praise ye the Lord, hallelujah. Praise ye the Lord, hallelujah. Praise ye the Lord, hallelujah. Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the Lord, hallelujah.
Peace be with you. Friends, the gospel today gives us a powerful message for our reflection. I urge you to follow the text, John chapter 13, verses 16 to 20, as you listen to the reflection. We can grasp the meaning of this passage when we read it in the light of the washing of the feet episode. It's only evangelist John who has not added anything about the institution of the Eucharist in his gospel. The scholars say that by the time he was writing the gospel, around 90 AD, the audience whom he was addressing to knew about the Eucharist. The other three gospels were also available to them. They were already participating in the Eucharist. That is the reason he decides to put across the implication of celebrating the Eucharist. The implication is nothing but service. Let me repeat, the implication is nothing but service. John teaches us that Eucharist should be lived in humble service. Let me now pick up 3 verses from today's gospel passage for our introspection. Truly I say to you, servant is not greater than his master, nor is the messenger greater than he who sent him. In Jewish culture, there were slaves for different types of jobs. There was an order or rank among the slaves. Some worked in the fields, some took care of the cattle. They also worked as table boys. The slaves who belonged to the lowest rank washed the feet of the master or the guest. Now you see, the attire that Jesus wore during the washing of the feet episode resembled a slave of his time. More so, he chooses to be the least of them all. So if the master has chosen to be a slave, then we too should be slaves, not masters. We should be people who are service oriented. Service. What is service? Service is an act of love. Love is not love when it is not shown in action. Incarnation is an act of love. It's merely service. Passion, death of Jesus are acts of love from the side of Jesus. Resurrection is an act of love from his Father. Jesus' whole life was an act of love and humility for humanity. Therefore, he is calling on his followers to be people who are service oriented. Remember, Mother Teresa could serve the poorest of the poor because she loved Jesus. Love was the main reason behind her service. If we say that we too love Jesus, then let our love for Jesus be seen in our actions. Secondly, Jesus hints at the betrayal of Judas when he says, "The one who shares my table will rise up against me." Judas, who experienced Jesus very closely, could not understand him fully and properly. He dared to betray him. Though Judas was with Jesus most of the times, he was still far away from him, for he has rejected his love. It might be the same case with us too. We may be doing our prayers faithfully. We may be regular churchgoers. Still, we may be away from Jesus. We may be betraying him in our actions. Thirdly, the last verse of the gospel is quite striking. Amen, amen. I say to you, whoever receives the one I send receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. Now the question is, when and how can we receive Jesus? We receive Jesus whenever we willingly accept the challenge to serve our fellow brothers and sisters who are in need. We have witnessed these days how some people went out of their way to the streets in order to serve the other, risking their lives. That is called service. They welcome Jesus through their selfless service. As Jesus says, whenever we serve or welcome Him in our life, we have in fact welcomed or glorified His Father who sent Him. Friends, in short, the message for all of us is, if you want to be a Christian, then go out and serve. Let this be our reflection for today. God bless you.